Hello everybody. Today we're going to be talking to Kenneth Kao, polar, photographer, artist, chiropractor, healer. So yes, super excited to be chatting with him today about his new projects, what's going on in his life right now, as well as I think we're probably going to go down memory lane a little bit with him as well. So Kenneth, if you're there, just go ahead and request to come on with me and we can get started. Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We're talking to Kenneth. So let's see, Kenneth, give me a little wave hello to tell me that you are on. Hi everybody. Do you guys have any questions for me? My name is Sergia Louise Anderson. I'm also a pole dancer, performer, choreographer, coach, studio owner. I see Ken has joined. Ken, go ahead and request to come on here with me and we'll get chatting. Hey everybody, where is everybody from? Where is everybody joining from today? Are you out in Europe? I think Kenneth is hopping on right now. Hello, Maria. Hi, Kenneth. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Where are you in the world these days or
Can you hear
today?
me? I'm in California actually. I'll be here for another 3 weeks
Oh,
until
how
I'll be in
nice.
Berlin.
Oh, very, very nice. Are you doing some training here in California right now?
Kind of, yeah. I'm gonna be trying to create some content and finish a few things. So I've been stuck in the middle of moving around quite a bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, tell us kind of, well, first of all, I figured we might go down memory lane a little bit here, and kind of tell us how you got into pole, where you even came from, because before you got into pole, doing parkour type work, correct?
Yeah, so
Did I lose
you're
you
kind
on
of breaking up.
connection? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, you're breaking up. I'm not sure if it's me or if it's you. Maybe some people can tell me if it's my fault or your fault.
Well, so far I think it's actually reconnecting okay, as long as you can hear what I said.
I think you were saying that you wanted just some background on where I started.
Yeah, I was saying that background of where you started, what brought you to pole, because I know that as a physical mover, you were more focused on parkour at the time, right?
Yeah, so I started parkour before I became a chiropractor, and then I became a chiropractor with the intent to treat parkour type injuries and activities. And then one of my students, as I was teaching parkour, was a pole dancer, and that's basically how the journey started.
Got it. So one of your parkour students was a polar, and when she came in to take parkour, what was that? How did that conversation go? Were you kind of like, wow, you're quite a monkey up here. We love this.
She was definitely a monkey, that's true. um, well, she was quite talented. She was very strong. And after, it was actually after the class, she was doing like a knee hang, um, or knee hold, sorry. And I was like, that's incredible. I need to do that. And what ended up happening was I kind of did some poking around to the local studios, but all of them were like, no men. And I kind of gave up at that point, because I even called around a few places and like, no, we don't have classes for men. And
Wow.
it
And when was
was
that? What year was that?
uh 2012, I think, actually. Yeah. Um, and then one of my patients about 3 months later came in and she was a pole instructor. And so I asked her if she could speak to the pole studio owner. And that's when the studio owner was like, I just never thought men would be interested. So she said it's totally okay for you to come in, and that was my journey, starting with vertical fusion in I think it was Longmont at the time.
Okay. And okay, so what was your experience then coming in from a background of parkour? Like even before parkour, what was your movement background?
I had a martial arts background,
Got it.
and then it became parkour. But I was just involved with a lot of different, soccer, tennis, ping pong, even if you want to count that.
Awesome. Yeah. So when you came, what was your experience coming from that movement background from parkour into your first pole class?
Um, Basically everything I wanted to do was different than what other people thought was natural. So anything like a leg hang or obviously the skin, that was challenging for me. But acrobatics and strength moves, they just felt very familiar and very safe actually. So I would almost default to more acrobatic movements.
Yeah, I remember kind of like when you first came onto the scene, like seeing the kind of dynamic work that you were doing with the pole was so exciting. Um, it was always so fun jamming with you because it was like the dynamics were coming from this totally different vocabulary.
Yeah, that seems to be how I've basically carried my entire career. Like I don't really, honestly, I never felt worthy in terms of my basics kind of suck.
Yeah, but
But
basics in what? Like how would you define basics, right? Because now when we look at basics, there's so many different styles and
that's
yeah, I
true.
mean it's all
That's
how you
true.
look at it, right?
It's true. It's true. I mean, I did learn the basics. I had to go through the process of, okay, this is how to do a leg hang, and this is, Cupid and whatever. But yeah, that stopped pretty quick.
You're like, I just want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And so where did your own thing take you?
Um, well, you know, traveling with Marlo actually for I think we traveled for like 8 years together.
Wow.
Obviously she had a huge influence on my movement.
Yeah.
And she's very, flow focused, very, the dance aesthetic without necessarily being confined by it. Um, so I became very intrigued by flow and not necessarily even acrobatic anymore. I kind of lost interest in my acrobatics, even though it comes out naturally in the way I move. So that's basically been my emphasis ever since is I just want to be more fluid and enjoy the process more. And I don't really feel the need to like scare myself.
I feel like, you know what? We all eventually made it there, you know?
It's true.
We all kind of started with like, oh, let's go hard. Oh my gosh, I want to freak myself out a little bit. Or like, what can I do? What can I do? And the more
Exactly.
nerdy we got, we were like, well, I don't really need to do that anymore. I
It's
need to
true.
do this other nerdy stuff. Yeah, I think it may be a natural progression. I always kind of say to like polars who are coming up, I always joke how, you know, beginners when they come in, they want to do all the fancy tricks and they want to do all the crazy things and kind of intermediate, same thing. They're going after those things. And then when a student comes to me and says, hey, so that small transition, that dance transition into that thing you did yesterday, what was that? And I kind of look at them and I go, welcome to the world of intermediate pole dancing. You have graduated. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? Like the mindset changes, right?
Yeah, very much. Very much. It's like the moves don't matter anymore. It's like all the transitions and the in-betweens that are more important for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to go deeper into those things and also, going deeper into the things that are like your signature stuff. And that's how you get, develop, I feel like style and
Mm.
what we saw so much with you is that like you get those signature moves, you play with them, and then you just get so much deeper and nerdier into continuing into deep diving into those things that feel good and that feel right and that feel um, specifically unique to what feels good on your body. And then we see like the artistry just like blossom because it's so interesting how it's so easy to get excited about all the new shiny things. But really, when people start to really shine is when you start to see that they form opinions about what they love and what they
Yeah,
love on their bodies.
very much.
Then they just deep dive into that. And then it's just, then we get the kind of epic performances that you gave us.
Oh gosh, I haven't performed in a while though, so
Me neither. I think the pandemic really set us all into a different kind of world, you know?
very true. Very true.
Yeah.
It's been crazy, but
Yeah.
life's still moving.
Talk to me about your journey, yeah, with performance and like what that was for you and now where it is for you and what you're feeling like. I mean, after the pandemic and now what's coming, what your focus is now.
Yeah, when I first started, I think my first performance was actually or I'm sorry, my first competition was Pole Expo, which was a little under a year after I had started.
You're
So I had no idea what I was
thrown right
signing up
in there.
for. Yeah. I was like, oh, there's a competition, let me sign up. And back then there really weren't that many men in like or at least emerging into the industry. So getting in was not difficult. It was like I think 10 people they accepted, something like that. And I bet you there are only like 12 applicants or something like that. So anyway, um, so I did that, but I took like second place. And in my head, I was like, I need to get a first place. I have to just. And so I
Uh,
competed like 4 or 6 times the following year, and I
wow.
never got first place. Well, I'm sorry, I got one PSO first place, but it was like the regional before the national. Um, and that really bothered me. Like I just wanted one, you know?
You're like, give me one and then I
Yeah, then I'm done. But obviously that motivation kind of doesn't last very long if you're not really a competitive type. So I let that go pretty much after that year. And then I think I was just done with any performance for a good couple years. I wanted nothing to do with it.
well, four or six comps in 1 year. That'll do it to you.
Yeah, it was bad. And like one of them had a pretty significant injury. Like
Ooh.
prior, I had like pulled down a pole and like crushed my hand. And so there was a competition, two like back to back, where I hadn't rehearsed one day because I basically had a broken finger of a sort. And so I just kind of went on stage and did my best, and it kind of destroyed my finger again because I'm smart like that. That was really not a good move. And then I went to Malaysia for the Pole Stars Championships with that same performance, but um, I like that the day that I got there and I was going towards the competition venue, I got hit by a taxi or
Oh,
a van, and then I rolled over the taxi. I'm sorry.
oh my.
And then I went to the competition venue to do my run through, and the Marley wasn't taped down at the time when I was doing the rehearsal, and I smashed my face into the pole as I was throwing a flip. So I had this big like bump on my forehead and blood just coming down my face.
I was like, you know what? I think you need to just step
Yeah.
back.
That was the universe like trying to tell me something, I
Yeah.
think, between like broken fingers and smashed faces.
Oh my gosh. You competed.
Yeah, I had a raging headache the whole time. I felt like such a jerk because there were plenty of people there that I wanted to talk to that were amazing people, but all I could do was just lay on the floor. And they somehow it became the thing after I think the pole to pole jump way back when, where they're like, we have to put him last every single time in case he breaks the poles. So every competition I did, I was always last. So I couldn't watch anyone perform. I couldn't speak to anyone. I was just laying on the floor, like raging headache. And I walk out there performing, like I can't see clearly because the swelling is like covering up my
Tell me
eye.
that was the last one. You were like, okay, I'm good.
That was pretty much yeah, that was my last one.
Got it. Got it. So where did your focus turn after that insane year?
I mean, education definitely took a lot of time. So just touring and teaching and traveling, and then I was doing all the photography work, which
Yes.
took up a lot of my focus.
I want to
Um,
about that. You have, pole ninja photography, and how amazing to have you as a resource in the pole community, because, you know, so many of us wanted to shoot with you and shot with you. I remember something so specific about the shoot with you. It was really about the experience. Like, it was, yeah, we ended up getting epic shots, and shots that I love of myself so much to this day. But the stories behind the shots were everything. We hiked up in the coldest day of Los Angeles time into a cave with bags on our shoulders to the very top of it. Like, it was, I, I remember that shoot, and I had a very good feeling, and I had heard rumors that I wasn't the only one that had an experience like this with you.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with saying that that's really why I did it.
Yeah.
Um, I love those stories. I love the joint community experiences where it feels like an adventure where the photo is just like a remembrance or a proof that you were there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still want to do those. I definitely want to. I've moved away from like making it a financial thing because I would feel a lot of stress pleasing the clients. Um, and so every once in a while I'll take a job here and there, but most of the time it's only if I feel like really inspired by a location or an adventure, and then I just grab whoever's nearby.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I want to do this crazy thing. Come and let's
Yeah,
it's the freezing cold or the heat of
yeah.
the.
Yeah, the issue was people would start messaging me going, "Hey, I want you to shoot me, and I want these pictures that I saw similar to this other person that I shot with." And I'm like, the amount of time and planning and preparation, like I have to scout it, I have to like usually climb several hills and hike around and figure out what's safe and accessible for people. I have to lug all the luggage up, and I can't guarantee anything
No.
because every single moment is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just wasn't worth that stress to do it for a financial reason.
Yeah. And for photography, was that something that you were into before you even came into pole?
No, I started photography, I think my second year of traveling. Basically, kept seeing amazing things. I was like, oh, I should take photos. I should take photos. And then Marla was like, you would be really good at it. Like, I'll buy you your first camera.
Oh, um,
So she bought me my first crop body, and like 3 months later, I went and bought a full frame. I bought all the lights. I dumped like 30K in my first year into all my gear, and I just went full on after that. So I was shooting pretty heavily for about 6 years, I would say.
let's talk about one of your favorite photography adventures.
Ah, so many. Ah, gosh,
I know. Choose just one. They're like children. How do you choose a favorite?
it's true. I mean, I think my favorite. Uh, I have a few favorites. I'll mention just a couple of them. One of them, it took me like 3 months of preparation because if you know the Urbex community, it's like this urban exploring where you kind of have to, it's abandoned buildings and ruins, and they love to explore those things and document it. But there's like a culture to it where um, you kind of have to just do it. They don't accept outsiders necessarily who especially are tourists. It's not like a lifestyle for people. They don't want you. So um, the thing is when you travel, there are like closed forums where you can communicate with them, but most of them will kind of harass you to get you to leave. And so you have to like convince them that you're already part of the community and that you're not there to make money, for instance, or not there just to like I don't know, promote something or expose something that they don't want exposed.
Share of this, like, these secret locations, right?
Yeah, yeah. And one of the rules is you never tell people how to get in and out of the locations. You have to figure it out for yourself. So the problem is if you're traveling, you can't necessarily find these places by yourself, obviously, because you're not local. You don't have the time to explore everything. So getting a guide is one of the most difficult things you can do in these communities. So I spent like 3 months basically convincing some people that I was already part of the community and that I was there not to make money, and I was just there for an experience and to create something cool, which was the Paris catacombs. Um, so I finally managed to get a guide, and it's like you're walking through Paris, there's a manhole, they open it up, and you jump right in. So this was with Marlo and another Urbex explorer who was also a guide. And we were underground, like 40 meters or so,
Whoa.
and hiking through, like, we're talking waist height water at times, all these abandoned like caverns and everything. And there's bones everywhere because it's the catacombs, right? There's just like leftover various human body parts that never were recovered. So the explorers, they tend to like gather them and create things with them. So there's this one spot where they created a throne made out of human bones. And it took us like about 3 hours to get to that location. And I'm carrying all my gear. It's backbreaking. Sometimes you're like half squatting, walking through these caverns. And then it's this tight little area. It's nowhere near as big as it looks. And I set up all my lights and then we take the shot. And it looks like it's a horror, like straight out of some movie or something. But yeah, that was incredible. My goal was it's a fine line between desecration and disrespect, and also adding attention and creating new value. And walking that line felt very challenging. Um, but at the same time, these bones, these human remains have been discarded and disrespected on such a level that it's basically just, it's like treated as waste almost.
Mm.
So for me, it was like creating something artistic to bring attention to it in a way that isn't meant to, I guess, glamorize
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It was hard, but it was just such a weird experience because, it that last hour to get out of that place was, my legs have never burned so much. But you just climb outside the manhole and you're next to a restaurant, and you're just like, hey guys, and just
Hey,
walk off.
coffee.
Yeah, it was 3 a.m. by the time we got out, though. We had started at like 10 p.m., so it was
Wow.
pretty intense.
Wow. So now I'm like really interested now. I want to go back into your like photography, roll through and like find that shot. Um, yeah, I love how you speak about just the experience as far as like right that line of honoring and desecration and bringing attention to but not glamorizing. Yeah, so interesting, so cool. When you look at the photo now, when you look at the photos that you took now, what do you like? What are your thoughts on
They're
what?
all stories. Like,
Yeah.
I put up a reel on my page not too long ago with just a bunch of my photos that I just threw together in one of those TikTok style, like, flash, 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 this is what I do. Um, and when I see it, like, I don't even really see the photos anymore. I definitely see like the entire experience. And I always get this strong, like, it's weird. It's like a sorrow, actually. I feel very sad that I'm not in those moments.
Mm.
Um, but I can totally relive the entire thing just with a single photo. So I know that other people may be seeing something else, but for me, I get hit with so many feelings that happen very quickly that I've gone back to it myself just over and over and over just to relive, like to recognize what my life has been the last 6, 7 years, of the photo shooting. It's just, it astonishes even me. And I I want to recreate as many of those experiences as possible still.
Recreate, like going back to those locations and like revisiting them, or are you talking about like new experiences?
Yeah, new experiences,
Yeah.
but still carrying the sensation of um, I think just creating on location is really important to me. Like being involved with your environment, um, like touching, feeling, enjoying the environment is very different than standing as a tourist or on the outside and just, you know, you've traveled all over. You know what it's like. You just like walk into a building and you look around and you're like, okay. You know, you might appreciate certain things, you might be impressed by it, but you're not engaging it in a way that makes it different from just seeing it on a screen in many ways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like for you, since you were already traveling, it's almost like, tell me if this is right. Like if you're traveling and that want to be more integrated, that want to be to have to really uh not record but just like draw in the experience of where you are. Like I feel like we were all traveling and doing all this traveling and traveling so much, and I'm wondering, for you, was it this kind of like, I'm here, I'm right here, how can I deepen this experience, how can I deepen my experience of this place, of this, um because it's like, when do you know that you'll be back there? There's many places
Yeah,
that I've been to that I know I will never go back to, and you have, kind of like jumped on that opportunity to say, how can I deepen my full mind, body, emotional experience of creating more memories here and integrating this into my being, into my physical self. I don't know, that might be,
yeah.
I'm putting words into your mouth.
No, it's very true actually. It's funny because when I stopped treating photography as a business, I kind of stopped even bothering to post my photos and my experiences.
Yeah.
Um, if I do post, it's like a sense of responsibility where it's like I have all these experiences and I should share them with people because they're experiences that most people may not be able to experience themselves. And it feels more like a responsibility to be like a good steward of experiences, you might say. So
Yeah, and I remember
the
that too, about like looking at your photographs and getting to read or hear you speak about the experiences. That was always really special. Whenever like a photo went up, it wasn't like we're just getting a photo. I remember just hearing the stories, and that was all, super special. So that's so cool.
Yeah, I'm glad. I hopefully more will come. I actually had an idea. It was meant for this year, but I decided to delay it for later to run something like a pole photography mix workshop event where um, I hadn't figured out the exact structure, but the idea was that people could cooperate. I didn't want to be a like leader, a teacher necessarily as much as like an advisor where everyone gets together and we just focus on creating cool photos. And we just like pool our funds into making some experience that's really special. And then we have little like mini critique sessions and it would combine the like dancers as well as the photographers as well.
Oh, I feel like so many people would be interested in that. And so many people would be interested in both sides of it. I feel like there's so many, maybe it's
For
some
sure.
who would want to be, doing the photography, and yeah, that's cool. That's really neat. And then also give an opportunity to other photographers who want to shoot, people who have body awareness, who have that artistic,
Yeah.
create something. That sounds awesome. Yeah, pick a location, get everyone there, have this like collaborative co-op kind of.
Yeah. That sounds fun to me. It sounds really exciting.
I love it. What other ideas do you have on the horizon that are kind of cooking for you at the moment?
There's so many. It's it's a little complicated in many ways, but how much time do we have? Like, what is our?
I would say let's do another 15, 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple projects I've been working on. One of them I can't say too much about. Uh, It's a super secret project with
Ooh,
Lupit and I. Um,
ooh.
the idea actually started prior to COVID, but after COVID hit, they were swamped. There was no way they could do anything. And then we started to work on it again near the end of last year, and been working on it ever since. It's got some serious challenges, but I think it will combine like everything we've spoken about here in a way that uh, hopefully will be magical for a lot of people. I'm trying not to say too much because it's not ready yet, but um, the last 6 months, I've been traveling around creating content, and I know nothing seems to have gone up online, but I've been working hard on stuff.
Oh my, I got chills and I'm like super excited. You've been traveling and working on this project for 6 months and you're holding on to that content. Something's
Yeah, very few people have seen it. And there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, but hopefully people will be excited about it when it's ready.
that's neat. So this particular project seems like it's kind of like very involved and it's taken a lot of your time and it's actually kind of almost changing the way that you're living right now because I think you've recently moved from kind of being in one place to kind of a nomadic lifestyle, right?
Yeah, that's basically the plan is to travel and work on this project. I don't know, for the rest of my life, maybe. So I'm lucky enough. I have alternative means of income where I'm possibly going to also be bringing in a lot of these skill sets into that world as well. So it's the like cryptocurrency world. I'm a writer for a YouTuber, and I'm pretty deep in the community. And there's a lot of opportunities for artists right now. And my goal is to build various platforms so that artists can utilize this technology in a way that hasn't been seen before, but also is sustainable to them. So I'm very heavy on that tech side right now, but that's where I'm generating my income right now.
Wow, I'm so intrigued and probably like a much deeper dive than we can even touch on today. But speak a little bit on the idea of um of like how artists can be involved in that.
Right now, I would say, especially movement artists, is probably too early. If you're an artist of a different type, whether it's, literally like drawing or digital art, there's probably the most potential for you there. But writing fiction even has a lot of potential. Music, voice, all of those there's a lot of potential there. It's a little too early to say, but I'm working on being an intermediary. I'm trying to set up something where I can be the intermediary for the people who aren't familiar with blockchain, um, in a way that artists can just create and then see the result. And I should have a proof of concept of that fairly soon, like in the next 5 days, something pretty cool coming out.
Wow, where can we
Um,
see that? Because now I'm like super intrigued.
well, in this case, this is not pole dance related, but
Yeah,
this is just a community of
art.
artists that have come together to create something, and then it's got like an economic model behind it. And yeah, I'll demonstrate it, but I'm thrilled. Like when I started writing fiction, um, as a kid, you just dream. You're like, what if it could become a movie, or what if I could see it come to life, or have other people engage with it? Like you want to just have people immerse themselves in your creations, and in a way, I can kind of skip into that because of the technology now, where people are excited and wanting to engage with the work, with the imaginary world that we're creating. And I don't need to wait for a mainstream publishing deal where I have millions of readers anymore.
Right.
So,
There's the opportunity for there's not as much of a gatekeeper kind of capitalistic situation where for artists there's maybe yeah, economic opportunities that would present themselves that would never have been a reality in the past, that kind of thing.
Very much. And things like, and again, this is super early. I don't want to like promise anything, but a lot of these systems, they're done in a way where you get royalties for the rest of your life, in that it's programmed into the contracts so that if you create something that other people want to trade, every single trade, you get income. And so artists, especially visual artists right now, they can literally make a living doing this off of residual passive income. And it skips all those gatekeepers in a way that it's literally programmed into the contract, on it's coded into there. So no one can skip that. You always get paid for every trade. And
For artists,
that's huge.
mind
Yeah.
blowing, like revolutionary.
Yeah. It's a big deal. I mean, so how many gatekeepers do we have that take 95% of your income on the work that you've created? And now we can bypass that. So,
Woo! You are like literally like giving me chills and like bringing tears to my eyes because like wow, because what has it been historically to be an artist of any kind, and we may in our lifetime see that turned on its head. Like that's insane.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's already happening. Like I might be in the cutting edge, like the forefront of it all, and to me I'm seeing it literally every day. And I'm having conversations with artists from all around the world, third world countries, who are finally able to, feed their family. And it's exciting to give them the tools and work on these tools that allow them to do this.
I love it. I love it. It's like you're living and working and playing in a world right now that is like a total different reality that most of us are in. So, and what you're describing is so exciting and so cool. And also like yeah, I mean, only a mind like yours who is an artist, gosh, a fiction writer, a martial artist, a pole artist, a photographer, but also has this, this connection to want to know what is the up and coming and what is there really out there, and how is it that artists can be supported in this way, in the way that the world is changing now. I mean, it really takes a very special nerdiness.
It's true.
I
I
say that as a
embrace
compliment. I mean,
it.
you know me well. I throw around the nerdy word as like the best possible
It
like
is. I
compliment
love
you
it.
could ever have. Like when I call you a nerd, you know that I like you a lot.
I love it.
That is so cool. I love that. I just think that is so neat. And what is the best place to make sure that when these things are translated for the rest of us
Well,
and understandable, where do we need to be watching?
yeah. I will always be throwing down anything that I consider a finished product or something that's ready. And before it's ready, I tend to keep very quiet because I don't want to get people all excited about something that hasn't, that's not ready to onboard them. Um, but if you want like more of a blow by blow of what's going on in my life, I do have a chat group. The Pole Ninja Cats. It's a Telegram chat group.
Telegram, got it.
And basically, we call it the Pole Ninja Cats because I swear 90% of the posts are about cats. We just share cats all the time. And it's really a casual group. We've become close through the pandemic where, somebody's always able to engage with another person almost at all hours of the day. And every week I put up cues for people to just try movement cues, and then I review them on weekly or bi-weekly basis where I'll do a video recording and give feedback on their movement based on those cues. So basically that's where I go to just post random stuff or whatever wherever I am in life. And it's kind of taken the place of my Instagram stories because I'm not very good at engaging on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we can find you there if we're interested in getting deeper into kind of what as things come out, all these
Yeah.
projects we're working on, and as cool. Very cool. Well, this was super awesome just in so many ways because I was just telling Lupit how how lucky I feel that they asked me to do these, because I feel like it's really taking me out of like my little hermit situation and like reaching out to all my
Yeah, I can see
friends
that.
and all my buddies, like seeing what everyone else is up to and connecting and being inspired. And just thank you so much for taking me on this journey of kind of like where you are. It's fun to reminisce about kind of where we all started and then where we're going now. I mean, it's such a different world than it was back in 2000, 10, 11,
Yeah,
15. So
thank you. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun to catch up a little bit.
yeah.
Not that I gotta actually ask you about your own life.
Yes, yes. Well, oh God, there's so much to tell. That's a whole other thing. I'll get on the pole ninja cats.
Okay,
I'll let you know. Pretty much
that would
my
be awesome.
mom life. I mean, really, there is no me. There is only my child right now.
I
Girl,
understand.
that's it. That's all we got over here going. No, just kidding. I have, the studio and stuff like that, and my dancing, and I have, being able to connect with you and all the people, all the people I get to interview and the Lupit thing. I have my pole babies at the studio that I work with, as usual. I mean, that's like my home, just taking people from
Yeah,
first pole class to, gosh, wherever the heck they want to go from there.
yeah. Are you still doing contemporary pole focus stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's my home, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, like we were saying, like what happens when you just turn on music and you kind of, you're not necessarily working on like trying to integrate a bunch of new stuff, but you're like fallback. I mean, contemporary will
Hmm.
always be my kind of like my fallback. I of course then try to push out of that in all sides, in all ways, all the time, because that's what makes it interesting for me, is always the pushing out of that. But
Mm, yeah.
home home is, yeah, home is the contemporary stuff. And of course, also home right now is really just I've had this kind of whole new focus of trying to turn non-polars into polars, right? Like what
Oh,
it is to cross over from, yeah, I could never do something like that, to I can really, really do this. Like I can actually do this. So that's kind of been my main online focus at the moment.
I like that. That's fun.
Yeah, because I feel like from so many years of kind of working in that more, you know, ed- professional place, and then helping a lot of people with the stories and the competition stuff, and I still do all that stuff as well. But also saying, well, like, how do we make new polars? Like, how do we bring
Yeah.
into this world? How do we go from people on the outside to
Mm,
inside of our community, and how can we continue to make sure that the that's always being redefined too, that's just not okay, it has to happen this way, but you can make this yours. We want to see more people come into the pole,
yeah.
like that come
Yeah.
from all these different walks of life, and from all their own unique experiences. And that's how the pole world even came to be, is everyone's different backgrounds coming into this melting pot, and just the beautiful appreciation. I remember just the beautiful appreciation we all had for each other, and the different modalities that came to,
Yeah.
you know, I think that's a really cool thing about pole. I don't think there was anything else in my life that, and I don't know if it was just so new and so fresh at that time that everyone was just so freaking excited about it, that we just decided to just all put it in the melting pot, and everything was like cheering each other on and being like, whoa, I never even thought of it that way. Oh my gosh, look at the way that just, I can't even, you got to show me that. And then I'll show you,
Yeah.
you know? So, so
I think it's still that way. Yeah.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'm not like as in it as I used to be, as far as like being a part of the community and the social media world and stuff like that. Because I've got, got a little nugget at home. But yeah, I just love that about pole, and I love that about wanting to, like, how many times you hear people say, "Oh, I tried pole. It was too
Yeah.
me," and every time you hear that, like a part of your soul dies.
It's
Oh,
true.
it wasn't. No, that you don't understand. It can be anything you want it to be. It
Yeah.
can totally do it, right? And then they said, but I couldn't. I mean, but I couldn't climb like everyone else on the first class.
Yeah.
No, someone ruined
Yeah.
this for you, and I'm so sorry. We shall remedy that. You know?
I never climb anymore anyway. Who
Exactly.
climbs?
Like that should not be. That should not be like how you first experience this aberration.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, so right now I think in a nutshell, like I've definitely like gotten nerdy into how do we bring people from outside into the
I
inside
love that. I
more,
love that.
you know, then there's more people in the inside and there's more
Mm-hmm.
opinions and there's more just creativity and fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or how it
I
changed
definitely.
our lives, you know. I can't imagine my life without having, you know, the experience that I had with poles. So yeah. Anyways, that's
Wow.
tell me.
You're the perfect person to do that.
Oh,
Absolutely.
thank you. Well, Kenneth, I will catch up with you. What is it? Pole cat?
The Pole Ninja Cats, if
Pole,
anyone's interested, just send me a direct message. It's like a private public group, so you need an invite link.
cool. Very cool. All right, Kenneth, we will talk to you soon and thank you for this chat today.
No worries. Thank you.
All right,
All
take
right, we'll see ya.
care. Mwah, mwah. Bye.